Morning everyone, we're back here at Queen Elizabeth Country Park for our final long run of the training plan. It is week number 12 of training for a coastal marathon. This is Runman Dan, thanks very much for coming back to the channel. It's the last big one and then we taper after this week. I don't know why I'm standing around, I better start this run. I'm pulling it off. 20 miles, 32 kilometers. Let's go. So welcome back to the channel. As I said, my name is Runman Dan. This is week number 12 of training for a coastal marathon, and today we're back in the beautiful Queen Elizabeth Country Park for our last long run of the training plan. It seems like ages ago that we started this plan, but it's come around quick, and after this week we will be tapering, which I explained about in a previous episode. So something slightly different for this 20-mile run, 32 kilometers. The first time we did one, we went west on the South Downs Way, and we did 16 kilometers out and 16 kilometers back. The second time we did one, we went east on the South Downs Way and did 32 kilometers out and 32 kilometers back. Today, we're going to go 8 kilometers east and back to the park, and then 8 kilometers west and back to the park, just to mix it up a little bit. The only problem with that, of course, is I've got to run back through the park and smell the cooked breakfasts. And unfortunately, I'm not going to be back in time for one, but that's okay. So we're about almost 3 kilometers in, and we climb another hill. And later on, we're going to talk a little bit about nutrition, how we're going to sustain ourselves on the run in terms of food and things like that, and fuel. So a lot of people have asked about that. I thought I'd wait till the last long run to do that. We're trying out a new gel today. Right, let's get this done. Okay, that's 8 kilometers. We're at the first turning point. We are 1/4 of the way through in 51 minutes. And we're feeling all right. We're feeling all right. So that should give us a rough finish time of about 3:24, 3:25, which would be great. So I guess that's a good time now then to talk about last week's training. So as usual, on the Monday, we had a rest. Tuesday was that 25 kilometer long run and we stayed local. Wednesday was a 1 hour recovery run. I've got 9.3 kilometers from that. Thursday I did zone 3 hills, so that was a hilly trail run where I had to keep my pacing in zone 3. I've got 11.3 kilometers from that. Friday was the usual strength and conditioning. Saturday was a rest day, and Sunday was another 1 hour base run where we got 9.3 kilometers from that. Total for the week was 54.86 kilometers, so a good solid week, and 574 meters of climbing. In terms of the 80-20 split, it was 81-19 last week, so a very, very good percentage of long runs to interval running. We're back in the zone that we want to be in. So overall, really solid week. And that of course leaves this week as the final big week of the training plan before we taper. So the next few weeks will be, the load will be a lot less, so my body can recover ready for the Beachy Head Marathon. It's getting closer now and I'm getting a bit nervous because of course I've not run a marathon for almost 18 months. I'm sure we'll be fine. Trust the training. Okay, we've got about 6k till we go back through the park and then off heading west on the South Downs Way. And then when we're in that direction, we'll talk about nutrition. Okay, we're coming back through the park now, which means we're just coming through halfway. And we've come through halfway in 1 hour 42. So that means if we can repeat 1 hour 42, that's a very good time for the 20 miles. However, I don't think I'm going to repeat that because we're now heading west on the South Downs Way, and that can only mean one thing: Butts a Hill. Okay, 1 minute to appreciate the view. Now I've got to keep going. Okay, we're over that hill. Oh, tough one. Right, so nutrition. Nutrition's really, really important on the long runs especially. So every long run I will have a Tailwind here in this bottle. Now Tailwind is a powder, electrolyte powder you mix with water. I'll put a link for it in the description. It's really good because it's like drinking water, but you get all your electrolytes as well and some carbs. And I have a water in this flask, and then I carry gels as well. Now the mistake I made previously before my injury is I wasn't taking on enough carbs during the run. I was eating a lot of carbs before and replacing them after, but during the run I wasn't getting the sufficient calories and carbs to keep me going. So today I'm trialing a new gel from Precision Fuel and Hydration, and the good thing about this gel is its flavour is original, so it's sort of not really flavoured. Some of the gels have flavours, but they're not palatable, or they're too sweet, or they're not good on your tummy. So far it's a lovely gel, really is, because it's not too sweet, it's just right, and it is also a good consistency, not too thick, not too runny. So I've got 5 gels and my Tailwind. Now my plan is today to try and consume more than 50 grams of carbs per hour. I've got 5 30-gram gels, which is 150 grams, and there's 50 grams of carbs in my Tailwind, so that's 200 grams. So once I'm done, it figures out to be around 57 grams per hour. So I've achieved what I set out, and I was lucky to get 50 grams an hour before. But when I do the Beachy Head, I would like to get closer to 75 to 100 grams an hour. Because when you're doing, I know Beachy Head is an ultra, but when it comes to the ultras, you want to be in that bracket between 75 and 100 grams an hour of carbs, because ultras, you're on your feet for a long time. So far so good actually with today's run on the carb front. The carbs are getting in, they're going in easy, and we're at the plus 50 grams per hour level, which is really good. There's loads of different gels out there. I've tried almost all of them, but this Precision Fuel and Hydration is easily the best so far. I'm just slowing down for a bit because I've gone a bit too fast coming off the back of that hill. So yeah, during your run, nutrition is really, really important, because you can run a marathon without anything, but I wouldn't advise it, and you're not going to feel that great afterwards either. The days running up to a long run, I'll also increase my hydration, make sure I'm drinking more, and have at least one electrolyte drink a day in the days running up. But it's also important to replace it after. So when I get back today, I'll have a pint of electrolyte water, and tonight I'll have a nice meal, big meal, replace the carbs I've lost in the run. Now, when it comes to race week, I don't want to carb load really the night before. I want to get the carb loading done in the 3 or 4 days before that, and then just keep ticking over. In terms of breakfast, at the moment I will have a Herbalife shake, some toast, and maybe a crepe, chocolate crepe, before a long run. I'm sure that'll be the same before the marathon as well. So I'll link in the description the Tailwind and the Precision Fuel and Hydration gels. The great thing about them is they do 90-gram pouches. So I'm going to take 4 of those on the Beachy Head Marathon, have 1 an hour, and I'll be safely inside that 75 to 100 grams per hour of carbs. But I'm interested to see what happens, because I've never fueled myself that much before. If you go back and look at the half marathon des Sables video I did, somewhere up here, it'll be on a card. I got stuck halfway through that because I ate a breakfast at about 7 AM, but I didn't start till 11 because of the coach journey. I was seriously undernourished, and it did affect my performance. I got through it, but it was not pleasant at all. So nutrition is key in these long runs. Now, when it comes to the big ones in France, like the CCC, the 100k, yes, I'll be taking things like gels, but they have tents where you get hot food and everything like that halfway through, so you can really fill yourself up as you go. So any further questions on nutrition, then pop them below and I'll do my best to answer them. Of course, it's just working out what works for you really, because everybody's different, everybody reacts to things differently. I think I've found what works for me now, and it will take a while of experimentation to find out things that work for you. Just never test something new on a race day. Never. That is rule number 1. Don't test anything new on race day. That goes for everything: shoes, equipment, bags, drinks, fuel, everything. Right, okay, we are almost 6k from home, so I get that done, get back into the park, have a nice coffee and head home. And at the moment I'm feeling pretty good. I mean, I'm 16 miles in now to this long run. I've got to say, I'm feeling all right. My wife's training plan is working. Right, let's get this last bit done. And that is it. That is it. We're all done. 32 kilometers in 3 hours 26 minutes. In terms of the elevation, the elevation was 699 meters, of course it was. So almost 700 meters elevation. And I've got to admit, that is, right now, is the best I've ever felt after a 20-mile run. That went really well. The fueling worked really well. The gels are fantastic. So now I've got to rest, recuperate, recover for the rest of the week. and we're tapering from next week. So I'll see you then. Thanks so much for watching. Appreciate it. If you enjoyed this sort of video, please do subscribe, and I'll see you next week for week 13. See you then. Bye bye.